When you're in Adams. Let's try it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. When you're in Adams. Again. 1, 2, 3. When you're in Adams. Again. 1, 2, 3. When you're in Adams. Awesome. Again. Congratulations, guys. And from the bottom up. Next time, we're gonna
That's really hard.
your solos.
So when do I come in? After Katie?
At page 5. Duty. Can you say duty? Duty and duty are two different things, okay? You have a very special duty. Ready, sing.
In the late 80s, early 90s, the JCC established support systems and programs for people with developmental disabilities. And it got to a point where we said, well, why don't we create something? Let's try. And so in 1992, we did our first production and have managed to figure out a way to do it every year since.
So Habima this year is 25, and I've been there 24.
Oh, I lost count.
I've been to Habima for 18 years now.
This is actually my first year working with Habima Theater.
I've been doing it from the very beginning.
So when we started, we had probably 12-ish people, a lot smaller.
We weren't even here yet. This wasn't even built yet. And we started at Midtown. Now it's all retail and condos.
We got to a point where we had enough men, enough women who audition that are of this caliber now. After doing these shows year after year after year, they've gotten better.
Bingo! The worst hotel in Paris.
And then we'll end up with people that are new every year. And because they're coming into a place that is already higher up, they get higher quicker.
This is my first year doing Habima, and I have had an amazing experience. This is always just amazing. My dream was to be able to act and to be able to sing. Last year, I went to go see the production of The Wizard of Oz here, and I was just amazed at how much people with disabilities can have a voice. And to me, like, I wanted to have that same voice that all they had too.
I think our auditions are part of my favorite part of the process because you see where people start and then you see where they end. You see who came in really prepared. What the director does is look and say, okay, what's the script and how are we gonna fill this? Just like any show.
I want to start saying, sometimes the world look perfect, nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change. Standing tall on the wings of my dreams, rise and fall on the wings of my dreams. The rain, the thunder, the wind, the haze, I'm bound for better days. It's my life, it's my dream, nothing gonna stop me.
We have auditions and tryouts this first week in December. A couple weeks later, we start rehearsing.
The
day of, we find out what part we get.
I get all jittery and I go to the bathroom too much.
All tendency to drink a lot of water and my throat runs up.
First rehearsal is when everyone gets to know what role they have. This offers an opportunity to say we're a community. We're all going on this journey together.
It's family first and family first and family by and by. Nice.
Being in the ensemble has, in the past, might have been something you thought wasn't special. And now I think there's a understanding that this is an important part of a production, that it's no less.
Over the years, they've started to need less and less. And I think that that's part and parcel because their directors and musical directors inspired them. You don't need this. You can remember these 3 lines, and you can be on stage with that person.
And Habima has taught me how patience is a virtue, big time. I've learned how to not take things so hard anymore. I've learned to like let loose and let things go, and I've learned that you're an actor, and actors have to work.
It's actually helped build more of my confidence in real life because, truth be told, I'm actually a very, very shy person, but when I'm on stage, I come out a little bit more. I show more expressions. I get to be emotional. I get to show all these different sides of me that I hardly show out in public.
Confidence is probably the best thing for me.
Now, people find out they have talent when they think they didn't.
Danny's your buddy, huh?
How does it feel?
It's great.
And over the years, those evolutions have gotten us to a place where we have almost entire shows carried by our actors.
I don't think there's anything like this, and I know people have come to look to try to figure out how to replicate it. And it's hard to talk about how do you replicate this because it grew from, we didn't start at Addams Family. And if you didn't have what came before, you wouldn't have gotten to Addams Family. It took us 25 years to get where we are.
It's really quite young for a civilization of people that's going to develop into, we don't know. We're learning so much about abilities that, who knows, 25 more years from now, the lines may be even more blurred, and we will really start to stop looking at the label of, well, she's this and he's this. There are things that I can't do. There are things that you can't do. We overcome them, and this is the triumph of Habima Theater.